Well, they're called Tormenta for a reason. After a lengthy weather delay, we are ready to go in stormy Statesboro for the first in League One ever, the meeting of the Players' Shield winners and the tournament champions. It's a rematch of the first ever game at this venue. It's Richmond and South Georgia. Well, folks, I am Zach Burley, delighted to be with you. This match presented to you by Kids World, and it wouldn't be a match day in South Georgia if it were not for the rain. Here is a look at the standings as it is. South Georgia 6 games played, which has some of the fact due to they're at the top of the table. The Kickers down in 8th, but they've got 2 games in hand, so there's a lot at stake here as South Georgia could go up to 2nd, possibly North Carolina FC could go up with their win earlier. It looks like they're going to get it over the Greenville Triumph. Richmond, like I said, games in hand. They want to try and win them. This brought to you by Savannah Hilton Head Airport. We can go to our players to watch, brought to you by Galactic Comics. And this was a pretty easy one to pick out for the South Georgia Tormenta. And Jackson Cooley, the first-year man in the United States coming in from Australia. He has been on fire recently. 3 goals and 1 assist in his last 3 League One matches. He is number 2 in the league in scoring behind Rafa Mensigan. He has just finally found his feet in this league and has been scoring with aplomb, linking up with the players next to him. A penalty as well, the most recent goal that he has scored. Your other player to watch, brought to you by Galactic Comics, is Emiliano Terzaghi. We know what he can do. He's been doing it over and over and over again in this league for Richmond, but this year he just hasn't quite started just yet. No goals in the league. He has 2 in the Open Cup, but coach said it can't go on this way forever. He's too good of a player to keep going scoreless for this long, so watch out for Terzaghi and this Richmond offense to finally find their way into their scoring boots. Folks, this is going to be a really good one. The rain will not hamper us as we get ready for action here in Statesboro, Georgia. The first time meeting between the Players' Shield and the tournament champions as we find out who from last season takes the bragging rights, rematching this first ever meeting at this stadium from last season. We'll have it for you right after this here on ESPN+. Stay tuned.
At Savannah Hilton Head International, you can choose from 11 different airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Breeze Airways, and Avelo Airlines. With up to 70 daily nonstop departures and over 30 nonstop destinations, Savannah Hilton Head International gives you more choices for a travel plan that fits your needs. Savannah Hilton Head International. Visit flysav.com.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to save Bullock County from slow internet. To do so, you must recruit an exceptional tech team. They must be fast, reliable, and absolutely fearless. Time is of the essence. Bullock's internet is dependent on your success.
Welcome back. Well, we are just about ready for kickoff in Statesboro at Tormenta Stadium, Optum Sports Medicine Field. These two teams who are, for the first time in League One history, meeting as the winners of last season's regular season and tournament champions. Well, some interesting changes made to lineups for both of these teams, and we can show you to them first as we take a look at these presented by PMG and Statesboro Real Estate. South Georgia Tormenta. Interesting to see how this back line will shape up because we're not sure who's going to be playing in at left back. We know Akoto will likely be out there, but will it be Otieno who plays? Where will Akale be? Will it be down the middle? Will it be out in the wings? Sierra Kowski is back up top, so a little bit to find out as this game goes on, but watch out for Akale and Kuri on the wings. Here's a look at the away lineup for the Richmond Kickers, and they've got a very big name missing in Neil Vinyals. He is not even in the provisional squad. Akira Fitzgerald back into the starting lineup. Terzaghi, of course, up top. Bitley and Belmar, very capable wingers alongside him, and then a very solid midfield that, even though they are missing Neil Vinyals, can still provide goals and assists. Well, this is a tough one to break down because these are two teams that are fairly similar in the way that they like to play, and I think are very evenly matched up. We saw that the last time these two teams met in the league, which was on this field for the first ever game played at Tormenta Stadium. It was a 1-1 draw with a very late goal scored by the Richmond Kickers off of a set piece. So that means it's a little difficult to find exactly what will be the most important parts from a game that is so evenly matched. Perhaps there are just slight differences, slight glimmers that separate these two. So two teams get ready to go out onto the field. A day that has been soaked and rainy so far. We were worried just how long we were going to be kept out of this game, looking at the radar and just seeing the sheer amounts of green, yellow, and orange that were moving its way over South Georgia. But thankfully, we are able to continue, and it will be Tormenta who will get us underway. So, folks, for the very first time in League One history, it's the Players' Shield winners taking on the tournament champions. Here we go. Well, it's not just about last season and bragging rights over who had the better year, because it's very hard to make the argument that either one of these teams didn't have two fantastic seasons. I mean, Tormenta were the best team down the stretch at the end of the year, and Richmond consistently over the entirety of the season were just so fantastic. They just did not come up when they needed to in the playoffs in a single game, a one-off. These two teams with a lot more than just bragging rights on the line. For Tormenta, a win before the day started could have taken them top, but the teams around them are actually all playing one another, interestingly enough. Charlotte played Madison to a 0-0 draw, and Greenville and NCFC also competing, and NCFC had 2 penalties early on in that game in the first half, so that would mean that the highest Tormenta could finish would be third, where they currently are. For Richmond, they could move into fourth with a win. And reminder, they still have those 2 games on hand, so 3 points is very big for both of these teams, as the pace has certainly been set by the 2 teams from North Carolina, Charlotte and NCFC. Akira Fitzgerald, big congratulations to him as he and his wife welcome a new child into the world. That gave some time for Palmquist to get into the starting lineup. But now the main man is back in. Big ball over the top, away by Dingler. Another man returning to the starting 11. He dropped out of the Charlotte game after just 13 minutes with an injury. And I spoke to Ian Cameron the week afterwards before their next home game, and, you know, he's saying, I'm not sure. It looks like he might be out for a little while. It certainly seemed from his prognosis and what we saw on the field that he could be missing for quite a while. He's made a quick return and just about holds on to that one as Otieno draws the foul. So that is a huge lift for this Tormenta team. Dingler getting about 15 minutes in the U.S. Open Cup game against Charlotte FC. And now back in the starting lineup against Preston Kilwine to his left. Cassini over the top. No problem from Fitzgerald. Matthias Cassini, you can see in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, number 10, starting for Tormenta. A big moment for him as he is making his way into a new team this season. Spoke to Coach Ian Cameron about that dynamic. He said he's playing with, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, not getting all the playing time you would imagine a player of Cassini's caliber would want to get. He said so he's coming off the bench with some anger, some frustration that he has taken out on the opposition. So you've seen him come up with a game-winning goal and assist against Knoxville, as well as a worldie against Charlotte FC in the Open Cup. So the one thing they wanted to make sure while putting him into the starting 11, would he be able to carry that hunger if he came in as a starter? But Coach Cameron, very complimentary of the ability to harness that frustration and turn it into production. Away by Dengler. So it does look like Otieno will be on the left as Cassini distributes out. Jackson Cooley is in a hot vein of form. Otieno overlapping. It's the Kenyan who typically plays more centrally in midfield. Fonseca through the lines for Cooley. Can he get there just along the end line? Great work to keep it in, but only as far as Akira Fitzgerald. Great ball through the lines. Jackson Cooley, the Balcombe Hills, Australia native, was certainly causing problems down the wings in some of the earlier games, but just was missing that final pass or final shot. And Coach Cameron of Tormenta FC just saying that, it's a big transition. He wasn't getting as much playing time given COVID and the way that the second division works in Australia, so he was getting up to the amount of minutes that they were trying to ask of him, getting that first team sharpness, and it certainly seems as though he's found it now. Barnathan. Nathan Awney. Great ball. Bentley lays it across, and there is Kilwine. Precision sliding challenge because Terzaghi was slicing his way through. Guarded closely by Jake Dengler. So our first corner kick of the night brought to you by the Herb Shop. It'll go the way of the visitors. Whipped into the front stick and away. They'll do it all over again. Richmond were very successful from set pieces last year. Certainly in the air, a very powerful team. 13 goals last season with headers, the most of any team in the league. Here it comes again. Middle of the box, knotted away once again by Kilwine. Settled, fired in, and deflected out front. That man again, Nathan Awney, scored a set-piece goal in the first ever game on this field to break some hearts, and here he goes. Just put it in the danger area, and you never know what might happen. Nathan Awney just getting in the way, whether he got the final touch or whether he just put the last player off balance. Excellent shot out front. And Awney scored that goal in added time late last year to make it a 1-1 game, just when the fans here at Tormenta Stadium thought they had christened the new venue with a victory. It was snatched away from them by Nathan Awney. And here's so again, their misery compounded. Another goal by the man who once again haunts their dreams. Cassini. It's now their third corner kick goal allowed this season. Most in the league for Tormenta. They've also allowed 3 headed goals, which is the most of any team. Of course, that one, the deflection out front. Foul as Akale is brought down. Zaka Moran will get a talking to. Luis Arroyo, our head referee tonight, I should say. By the time we're done with this, we will truly be into League One After Dark territory. I believe now it's pretty much a running joke with the Tormenta fans and certainly their social media admin. Akale driving forward, nearly wriggling away from two. The referee will give the foul belatedly. But they have certainly had quite a few games interrupted by the weather recently. So it's always a great thing to see the humor displayed online. A little bit of camaraderie between the two social media admins between Tormenta and Richmond discussing the rain. These two teams both with mixed starts to the 2023 season. For Tormenta, they have had 3 wins, all of which have been clean sheets. They have not come from behind in a single game all year. But they've been on a good run of form since that loss against Northern Colorado. Otieno has it stripped away, laid off, and there is Pablo Jara. Richmond have proved very tricky on the counterattack. It was their quick counter that led to the corner from which the first goal was scored. And that one of the other bright opportunities from a counter itself. The Tormenta have really bounced back since that Northern Colorado loss. 3 wins and 2 losses, one of which was against an MLS team. So if you take that one out of the equation at 3-1, falls fortuitously and the shot is deflected. Terzaghi was spinning inside the 18. Not fully cleared. Big switch to the far side. Riding one challenge. Numbers keying up. Tormenta look to spring away. For Richmond, their mixed start comes mostly from the fact they've only scored 2 goals. Cassini on his left. Driven in. Nearly a fortuitous bounce. Yeah, just 2 goals in league play. Belmar scored against Greenville and Owain Gordon against Charlotte. Tied for the least goals scored. They've only played 4 games, remember, so that's got to be taken into account. And there is the whistle once again. This in a very good area for a direct free kick. That's Fonseca drawing the foul. You can see how quickly Fonseca picked up the ball and Otieno's honest efforts to retrieve it from him. Both of them will be hard-pressed to win this off of Akale, who has already scored a worldy free kick at this stadium. One in against Charlotte during that early flurry of goals that he got at the beginning of the season. So Fonseca will leave it after a long conference. We'll see who steps up. Left for Otieno, driven up and over into the night sky here in Statesboro. Tobias Otieno shifting from his more traditional role in midfield out to left back. Twice he's worn the captain's armband this season for Tormenta. Barnathan. Kept off the back of Belmar's head. Carlton Belmar, one of the new additions to a fairly stable Richmond roster. Many of those familiar pieces still there. Terzaghi, Bentley, Zaka Moran, of course. The back line nearly unchanged. Fitch, Barnathan, and Awney all returning. Michael Hornsby, the lone addition, out at left back. Both of these teams, of course, coming off midweek games in the Open Cup. Tormenta, after taking down RGV here at home with the USL Championship and extending their incredible run against USL Championship teams, are 3-0 in the US Open Cup in the last few years. They went on the road to play Charlotte FC. They had a red card in that game given to them, making it the second year in a row they've played an MLS team and gotten a red card. That eventually contributed to their 4-1 loss. Cassini scoring a screamer, making him just the second player to score against an MLS team. Richmond themselves won in the first round against Cleveland, and then went on the road to our nation's capital, play DC United. Great ball through the lines. That was a 1-0 loss, a Yamil Assad penalty kick. But that doesn't tell the entire story. Terzaghi also had a penalty kick, which was saved. Would have made that game 1-1 and been very, very interesting. His coach, Darren Sawatsky, saying he thought they created more, even better chances, especially in that second half. There's a lot of positive signs coming out of that DC United game. So that certainly factors in to the lineups that you see today. Both teams having played a lot of games in a short amount of time. There's a little bit of rotation going on. Tormenta have actually conceded 3 goals in the first 15 minutes of the first half. It's more than any other team in League One. It's an area of vulnerability. And Richmond tapped that, finding their goal through Nathan Awney. These are two teams that more often than not end up drawing when they meet. An honest effort is given here to chase this one down with the foul on Jake Dengler. This is the 11th all-time meeting between these two teams. Just 2 wins for Tormenta. Doesn't get much better for Richmond, only 3. 5 of the results of the 10 played have ended in draws. Pablo Jara wriggles out of a messy situation. Tormenta actually won 2 of the first 5 meetings. Have not won since. Their victories being 2 one-goal victories back in 2019 and 2020. Falls nicely out for Bentley. Sizes this one up on his right, deflected out behind. Oh, Preston Kilwine has been a blocking machine out there. It'll be Suko out on the corner kick to take. The rain continues to stream down here in South Georgia. Justin Suko. That one curled out of play. Richmond do have the most recent victory in this series last year, 3-1. The most recent result, of course, being that 1-1 draw when Tormenta opened up this stadium full of hope, only to be snuffed out by that late Nathan Awney goal. That story turned out okay, though, didn't it? Ended up able to lift the League One tournament trophy on this field in an incredible story. Great credit must be given to the fans who have stuck it out through the rain. We were originally scheduled for a 7:30 kickoff, getting underway just before 9. Nearly taken away by Kuri. Played around the corner for Terzaghi. Down line, blocked by guess who? Kilwine again. As we approach the 20-minute mark. Richmond the better of the chances and possession so far. Played in behind, looking for Bentley. Pablo Jara favored back in goal. Started that opening game against NCFC and got the clean sheet. Also kept one against Lexington. Knoxville, excuse me. During those two games, he was dropped in favor of TJ Bush. Heckenberg. Jackson Cooley. Just has that Ronaldo-esque ability to dribble. Lobs one in just over Sarakowski. Otieno. Shuffling one way and the other. And wins his side a corner kick. Kuri will be the man to size it up. 4 goal contributions in his last 3 games. Got the assist against Greenville. What can he provide from here? Jackson Cooley stands this one up to the back stick. There's Dingler. Headed away from him. And an easy grab for Akira Fitzgerald. Select, the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.us.select/sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Kira Fitzgerald. Simon Finch down line to tangle between Otieno and Matthew Bentley. Fitch playing out at right back. He's played every minute so far of the League One season for Richmond. He and his fellow defender Dakota Barnathan coming in from VCU. Akoto was just enough to keep this from trickling out for a corner. Nestled down by Gamero. Chipped in. Belmar. Hornsby around the corner. Belmar, this one comes off Heckenberg. And we'll be out for yet another Richmond corner kick. Suko yet again will size it up. They've already scored one off a set piece tonight, Richmond. It was a deflection out front for Nathan Awney. Lined up on that 6-yard box, in by Hara. And he's just able to wrestle it at the last moment. Down behind the play. It's Preston Kilwine. Center back has been a difficult area for Tormenta this season. Originally it started off with Dengler going down, and then they had to play Nimhard in at center back, who is very capable of doing so, but is traditionally an outside back. As we take a look again to see, Kilwine gives a little swing out there and then goes down clutching one of his legs. But once Dengler went down, they did have a depth issue at center back, so they signed Dalton Knutson, who was really the best outstanding free agent in the league. Brought him in to fill what they thought might be an extended gap at center back. Back comes Dengler, though, who re-enters the starting lineup. Kilwine gets himself into a spot of bother, but acquits himself well. But still, they do not want Kilwine going down and exacerbating their problems. It'll just be a yellow here. The foot left in by Cassini on Hornsby. Just one of those where the foot was left in late. Yeah, and it catches him on that right foot. Doesn't appear to be too malicious. And confirmation, Cassini receiving the yellow. First booking issued to either side so far. These two teams are very good in their respective situations as they are now. Tormenta, only 3 losses at home since August 12th of 2022. 2 of those 3 losses have come in this calendar year, falling to Charlotte and Northern Colorado. Bentley. There was nobody making the run at the back stick. Belmar will keep Akoto honest. That August 12th date, though, is pertinent because that is the date of the last road loss for Richmond. They have not lost a game on the road since August 12th of 2022. That was a 1-0 loss against the Triumph. It was actually their only loss in the final 13 regular season games last year. This shows you how strong they were going in. It was quite astounding that they were down by Chattanooga at home. So one of the things about this being the first time that the Players' Shield winners and the tournament champions have met is that each of the Players' Shield winners, the regular season winners, have been so strong. Every year, the team that has won the regular season has gone on to win the tournament, and rightly so. And Richmond were odds-on favorites to do that last year with the way that they finished. But as we know, one-off games, anything can happen. But still, that away form remains. It has been quite some time since they have lost at home, or lost on the road, that is. Back to Fitzgerald. Both teams are hampered with some important injuries. Keziah Sterling still remains out. This one falls for Fonseca down the middle for Akale. Good defensive work, Barnathan. Second corner kick of the night for Tormenta. The last one was a good service into Sierakowski, who was at the back stick. Ryan Sierakowski, who rejoins the team after playing extensively through this latter half of the season last year. Jackson Corey again. Takes this one short. Here he is. Cassini. Lobs one in on his left. Otieno. Chipped up. Loops out to Corey on his left. Slicing and dicing his way through. Nice defensive work by Fitch. Bentley collides with Heckenberg. You're already beginning to see some of the slips and spills come about to the near hour and a half, even more, close to 2 hours of continuous rain that has been falling in Statesboro. And it's not about to let up either. I was worried that we might not get this game in for quite some time tonight. But back to the point on injuries. Keziah Sterling, still a question mark. He played a little bit of time against Greenville. He's not in the provisional squad today. Richmond, of course, no Nil Vinyals. He did not play in the DC United game. Terzagi's available down the middle. Hornsby. Just no one at the top of the box. Ethan Vanacore-Decker, another one who's out missing for Richmond. Kind of a common theme when talking with both of these coaches was that they're going to be back up to full strength pretty soon, and they want to figure out some of these question marks that they have. Heckenberg lays it off behind Akale. Corey. Just no one in that space on the right wing. Tormenta especially for those injury situations, because I don't think that Dingler is quite 100% yet. The question is whether or not he would be able to see full fitness throughout the full game. But they have a bye coming up very soon, and it could be that Sterling returns after that. There are still discussions to be had. But Tormenta want to start answering some of those questions now so that they would get back from that bye break. They can return with a full-strength squad and really start in earnest with a full 11. Kilwine has been taking the throw-ins over on that far side, despite playing at center back. Intercepted by Fonseca, but he doesn't connect well with Curry. Talked about Richmond only having scored two goals in their opening 4 games. They've got one tonight, but that 4-game stretch with only 2 goals is one of their worst in a very, very long time. The last time they went 4 games and scored less goals was September of 2019. They went a 4-game stretch to the middle of September, having only scored 1 goal. They had a draw and 3 losses over that period, but at no other point through 4 games since 2019 have they scored less than 2. Coach Darren Sawatsky putting a lot of that down to the fact that they're just missing some big guys who have contributed heavily to their team last year, and Jonathan Bolaños and Ethan Bryant, both who have gone off to very successful careers other places. Zaka Moran. Gamero. First-year addition. Bentley. One-on-one versus Corey. Recovered well. Terzaghi in line. Settled out by Gamero. Belmar strikes one through, well wide. Carlton Belmar, native of Granada. He's had quite a distinguished career in the USL Championship. 200 appearances. Just under a half-century's worth of goals. 43 goals and 21 assists. Chested down by Akale. Support with Cassini. Otieno out for Curry. Shuffled along for Sarakowski. Down the middle for Cassini. Turned over to Terzaghi. Holds up for support. Belmar. Great challenge by Jake Dingler. Not only won it, but also managed to get a friendly throw out of it as well. Really is the linchpin in that back line. Really was a night for defenders. First time these two teams met at this new stadium. Jake Dingler got an assist on the goal against Richmond, and then Nathan Ani, of course, scored the game-tying goal in stoppage time. It's often easy to forget that Jake Dingler is just 23 years of age. He's got a lot of upside. Plays with the experience of a man much higher in age. Very wise head on young shoulders. Fonseca out for Heckenberg. Got Cassini on his right. Lays it off. Cassini blocked out behind. Richmond have done an excellent job just sealing off that 6-yard box, making sure anything that goes in goes out. Fourth corner kick of the night. Kuri set up short on the last one. Something like a training ground set piece. He'll deliver an in-swinger on his left this time. To the back stick. The foul is given against Dingler. Ani remains down in the wake as well. He actually leads the league in clearances this year, 32 for Nathan Ani. Helped up to his feet by Suko. You can see maybe just a collision there with Fonseca, who had his arms up, pleading innocence. Still laboring a little bit on that right leg. Had a very fine into the season last year, Nathan Ani. Starting from June pretty much onwards. This is a fruitful area for Tormenta. Scored 3 goals in the 15 minutes before halftime. It's 43% of their total on the year have come during this 15 minutes before the halftime whistle. They also have no goals allowed during this 15-minute stretch. Don't miss a minute of action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home of USL, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today, plus.espn.com. For those of you watching from Richmond, the watch party that was set up, count your lucky stars. You're not out soaking in the rain in South Georgia right now. Taken away well by Gamero. And laced through the lines as well. Just moving with such swagger through midfield. Big moment for Gamero as well. Coming into this one, he just had 21 minutes against the 2 games with the Charlotte Independents. Laid off for Fonseca, tees it up on his right. There might have been something there with the Kale making that diagonal run. Pedro Fonseca, who had a goal in the game-winning assist against Greenville. A lot of these pieces in midfield starting to find their scoring boots. They have been scoring in bunches, Tormenta. Got the second most goals scored coming into tonight at 7. That comes paired with the fact they've also conceded the most goals. Bentley. Suko out wide for Fitch. Guarded closely by Curry. Into the final 5 minutes of the first half. Richmond, the goal through Ani off a set piece. Been a real Achilles heel for Tormenta this year. Belmar. Lovely ball. Hornsby settles on his left. Laces it across. And an easy one-touch finish for Justin Suko. Well, the Players' Shield winners are taking it to the defending tournament champs. His first goal as a Richmond player. As easy as they will come. Credit to Hornsby, who laced a perfect ball through the back line. Justin Suko, who played his soccer last year for Forward Madison. He actually had 45 minutes in that 1-0 loss to Richmond when they clinched the regular season title up in Wisconsin. Switches jerseys, comes over to the Virginia team, and has now got his first goal. Yellow card quickly out for Fonseca. Well, there goes that 15-minute stretch without conceding a goal. They usually finish these halves well, Tormenta. If you take a look at the foul by Fonseca, just dives in, missing the ball. One of the things about Richmond is they have doubled their goal count for League One this year. They had 2 coming in. All of their goals on the season have come in the first half. They are the only team in the league who has not scored in the second half. This is their 5th game. Hornsby. Saka Moran. Paco Craig leads Miami FC into Kentucky to face Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference champions, Louisville City SC. Don't miss the start of the new season of USL on ESPN+. Saturday, May 13th. That'll be on ESPN at 7 p.m. Eastern. Once again, that game for you on ESPN2. So Suko, he'll receive a yellow card to go along with his goal. See Akale. That's a crunching one. Saying he got the ball. So now 3 yellow cards issued out. 2 for Tormenta, 1 for Richmond. So a 2-goal first half performance from Richmond, doubling up their goals tally on the year. Rumors of 1 minute of added time. Belmar. Richmond still not done. Hornsby, who's got the assist on the second goal. There is that 1 minute of stoppage time. Tormenta just haven't quite been able to get going in this one. Their best chance really came off of that first corner kick that they had. The field has been tilted in one direction since. Gamero brought down. Is that a foul? Referee says yes, it is. Jake Dingler clipped Gamero on his mazy run forward. Joao Gamero. Neil Vignal's not in the team today. He and the other midfielders having to step up. Terzaghi places this one down. No goals in league play. 2 in the Open Cup. Still looking to open up his account sheet for the 2023 year. One of the league's golden talents, laced with a golden boot, curls it in and finds the back of the net. The golden man scores his first of 2023, and the defending regular season champions are putting Tormenta to rout. Well, Coach Sawatsky said that his goalless streak can't last forever. He's going to find the back of the net eventually, and he does so. A well-serviced in ball in his first of the season. Pablo Hara, of course, just about got there with his right boot. But the Argentinian closely, rapidly approaching the 50-goal mark for Richmond. And after scoring just 2 goals through the opening 4 games of the season, they've got 3 in the first half against Tormenta. And there goes the halftime whistle. This will be quite the mountain to climb in the second half for Tormenta. Richmond, as some extras are had, have run through the defending tournament champions here on their home field. An exciting first half punctuated by rain, the delay, and 3 emphatic Richmond goals. All we can hope for is there'll be more in the second half. We'll have a lot for you coming up here. This match presented to you by Kids World, when we'll bring you more when we return. Richmond up 3-0 on South Georgia. A thoroughly complete performance from the Players' Shield winners. It all began with the rain. The delay did not affect the visiting team. They got underway early and often, more than doubling their goals tally coming into this one. They are 3 goals to the good at the 45-minute mark.
Hey, are you ready yet?
House in Statesboro, Southeast Georgia's best place to play. The Clubhouse in Statesboro, where fun is done.
At Savannah Hilton Head International, you can choose from 11 different airlines, including Southwest Airlines, Breeze Airways, and Avelo Airlines. With up to 70 daily nonstop departures and over 30 nonstop destinations, Savannah Hilton Head International gives you more choices for a travel plan that fits your needs. Savannah Hilton Head International. Visit flysav.com.
Hi, I'm Michelle Smith-Lang from Kids World Learning Center here in Statesboro, Georgia. Let us take care of all of your child care needs here at Kids World Learning Center, from your infants all the way to your after-schoolers. We also have a summer camp and holiday camp for those older children. And we have our brand new bus for our field trips, for the children to have fun and to learn and to explore new things all around our beautiful county. Thank you for trusting us with your most prized possessions.
Welcome back to a rainy Statesboro, where the defending regular season champions are up 3-0 over the defending tournament champions here in this game presented to you by Kids World. Well, this has been an exciting week recently. Let's go to my good friend Mark, who's got a wrap-up of the weekend's action.
Let's take you through the action from Saturday of last week, starting with the Independence and Central Valley Fuego. The Jacks at the top of the table and looking to stay in that spot. Nick Spielman flicking this one in and giving the Jacks the 1-goal lead in the 29th minute. That would end up being the difference in the game. 1-0 would be your final score between these two sides. No late game Villian Bijev magic here, but he'd come awfully close off the woodwork. Right post, Villian Bijev nearly puts it in. It's outside the stretch of Austin Pack. And then we also did have a red card in this game late in the match. Adrian Vera sent off the pitch. And it was at a moment where Central Valley Fuego were starting to really conjure up some chances, some moments to find an equalizer. But anytime you go down a man, that's going to deflate your sails even just a little bit. Then later that day, Lexington and Greenville. You'd see here a straight red card challenge. Cesar Murillo, the former Greenville Triumph player, the one guilty of it. And Greenville would capitalize. What a week for the Greenville Triumph. No wins, down several players. Were able to get a win at home on Wednesday, turn around and get a win on the road against Lexington on Saturday. Noah Pilato with a 3rd goal in 3 games. And then late in the match, the icing on the cake, Leonardo Castro would get his 1st goal in Greenville Triumph colors. Just putting that one well beyond the reach of the keeper. Austin Causey could not get to it. And that's an account being opened for Mr. Castro. One of hopefully many for the Triumph if you are a part of John Harkes' side. 2-0 your final score there. And then during the middle of the week, we had a couple of Open Cup matches, and although no League One teams were able to come out with a victory against some staunch foes, we did have a couple of great goals. Mateus Cassini just letting this one fly. He could just score a magical goal, can't he? And he'll be looking to hone that talent in the USL League One season for the rest of it, even if it's not going to be in an Open Cup run 4-1 your final score there. Charlotte were able to get the victory over Tormenta. And Union Omaha trying to have another U.S. Open Cup run. It wouldn't meant to be, but Pedro Dolabella would get one for the Owls in this one against St. Louis City SC. It ended up being a rather lopsided game. St. Louis City with a large margin of victory, 5-1 in that scoreline on Thursday. And then one other goal would be scored for League One sides. This one for Northern Colorado Hailstorm against the Colorado Rapids. Look at Jackson Dietrich. You know he's got the talent. He's been around in League One for a couple of years now. Always has that goal-scoring capability, but it ended up being a 3-1 scoreline in favor of the MLS side over this League One team. But with that in mind, the Hailstorm, Tormenta, and Omaha all tied for the furthest runs and also had a win against a higher division team in their run, are going to split that Division III prize. With that in mind, we're going to step aside. When we come back, we have more halftime content coming your way on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest, most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Welcome back for your news and notes here at halftime. Of course, the big news all across the USL this week. Jake Edwards ending his time with USL after 8 years as president, a period that has just seen so much growth in this league at the championship and League One level. If you look at this league alone, the expansion that we've seen has been incredible. And then, of course, the other two, player of the week, Lucas Coutinho, an incredible week after his first pro brace. And a big, big week for Greenville. Speaking of which, there the man is himself. Two from Tormenta, Kilwine and Cassini, who feature in our game tonight. Had very good weeks last time out. Pack, who's had an incredible season for a team who's had an incredible season in Charlotte. And then, of course, heavily fevered is the Greenville Triumph after their 6-point week last week. Very strong showing from the men in green from South Carolina. Brought to you by eFootball. Here's what we've got coming up. Charlotte will play against the Greenville Triumph in a big test to see if they can continue to pace themselves at the top of the league. They're going to have hot on their heels North Carolina FC, who picked up a win against that Greenville Triumph team. And then with all of these midweek games, there's just so much going on in the league as they come thick and fast. Teams tonight, of course, South Georgia will play Chattanooga Red Wolves, who just picked up some points as well. Brought to you by Savannah Hilton Head International. Here's a look around at what is going on in the league at this moment. An incredible game in Chattanooga where goals were scored in bunches and quickly. North Carolina FC getting 2 penalty kicks to win there. A bicycle goal in our Union Omaha match. And then the Charlotte Independents finally held to not getting a win as they go on the road to Madison and come away with a point, but still remain undefeated. Once again, that scoreboard brought to you by Savannah Hilton Head International Airport. So a lot to take in from this week as the teams at the top continue to stay at the top, and that means that there can only be so much that happens from down here. We'll have more from you coming up at halftime right after this on ESPN+.
Are you suffering from hip or knee pain? Don't let the pain hold you back. The region's most experienced robotic joint replacement team at Optum Health System offers an individually tailored approach that is more precise and creates smaller incisions. For you, that can mean a faster recovery with less pain. Your comeback starts here. Call today to find out if robotic-assisted joint replacement is right for you.
Your mission, should you choose to accept it, will be to save Bullock County from slow internet. To do so, you must recruit an exceptional tech team. They must be fast, reliable, and absolutely fearless. Time is of the essence. Bullock's internet is dependent on your success.
What's up, Tormenta Nation? My name's Olivia Conley, and today we're starting a new series where we get to know the players a little bit better. This is Jake.
My name's Jake Dangler. I'm excited to be here and can't wait to talk.
Jake, where'd you grow up and how did it shape you into who you are today?
I grew up in Baltimore, Maryland, and I'd say Baltimore was a big soccer community, and so growing up with 2 brothers, it's kind of shaped me into the player I am today and the person I am.
How old were you when you started playing soccer?
I was 3, and I have a cute little picture of me at my brother's first practice or something, to where I'm just dribbling a ball in my little tennis shoes, and then there's another picture where I have my first cleats are baseball cleats, because like I said, my parents knew nothing about it, so they just thought any cleats were proper cleats.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at some halftime highlights brought to you by Galactic Comics. Well, it's going to be a lot of you seeing the men in white with scoring opportunities. It was this initial shot that was deflected out front by Nathan Awney, a guy who has scored in both appearances here at this new stadium. A great shot from outside the box, just settled so well, and then just turned in by Nathan Awney. Great deflection. And the opening goal was scored so early to really set the pace for the visitors. Things didn't get much better, though, as 2 goals were added right towards the end of the first half. A lovely build-up play resulted in this goal. It was a long succession of passes that led to Hornsby laying this one across. Versuco just laces it home. So easy to finish his first in red and white. And then just to cap everything off, because really we hadn't had enough in the first half from Richmond, Emiliano Terzaghi opens his account for 2023. A great free kick goal that Pablo Jara can't keep out. A curling shot that really is just pure perfection from the Argentinian. Well, we are ready to go for the second half in Statesboro, as these 2 teams are going to have a second half to decide who will go home with the points. Right now, heavily favored to Richmond, but anything can happen in the rain in Georgia. Well, as we said, that last 15 minutes has been a period of success for South Georgia. They've scored 43% of their goals in the time right before halftime, and they conceded none. And this time around, they let in 2 that really put a damper if the weather isn't doing it enough on their chances in this one. Akale in behind. No foul. Halftime substitution for Tormenta as Kingsford Ajay replaces Mateus Cassini. Cassini, who had just gotten into the starting lineup after back-to-back very stellar performances against Knoxville and Charlotte. The Ghanaian Kingsford Ajay will replace him. More of a wide attacking threat as you'll see him now. Akale down the middle, trying to touch it into space for Sierakowski, but both of them slip on the very damp surface here tonight. Taken away by Heckenberg. Here's Akale. Playing more centrally. Fonseca, 1-2 passing. Lovely ball out to Curry. Otieno, just not enough lift on that cross. Otieno just having to track back the errant pass by Curry. Had the second most goals of anyone coming into this one. Finally finding his scoring boots in League One. High praise from his coach, Ian Cameron. Just saying he's starting to find some consistency. I think there's a lot more to come from him. As they look for that, maybe 10 to 8 goal assist mark. Pablo Hara having to come out and see that one out. Got the captain's armband for tonight. As the search for their reliable starting goalkeeper continues. That traces back to last season as well, whether it was going to be Hara or TJ Bush. Neither one quite stamping their name emphatically on that starting spot. Fonseca back to Kilwine. Of course, once again, this is the first ever meeting. The winners of the Players' Shield, which is the regular season trophy, Richmond, and the tournament champions, Tormenta. Every year up to this point is a beautiful challenge is put in. Every winner to this point of League One has won both the regular season and the eventual playoff tournament. Richmond won it emphatically last year, and then Tormenta went on this incredible run, which resulted in them lifting the trophy on their home field as a 3 seed, hosting Chattanooga. Otieno, laid off first time for Akale. Just tried to spin away. Released by Zaka Moran. Ajay. Heckenberg. Curry slips. The rain has been following continuously, nigh on 3 hours now. Both teams looking to move up the standings with wins. Richmond have got that in their favor at the moment. Could have moved up as high as 4th, depending on other results. Belmar. Out of play by Kilwine. Just pulled the emergency switch there as Terzaghi was marauding down on him. Well, it was through a corner kick that the scoring got underway for Richmond. Corner kick brought to you by the Herb Shop. He's already got a goal to his name. Right-footed in-swinger. Lots of air under this one. Misses Bentley at the back stick, and he can't keep it in play. Of course, both teams out missing some players tonight. This injury report brought to you by Optum Sports Medicine. Sterling, a big name. Boshua very close to coming back, says Ian Cameron. That would be a big lift. Jake Dingler was one of those ones who was kind of on the fence. Was he going to play? Was he not? Might have to add Neil Vignal to that list for Richmond, as Ethan Vanacore-Decker is still out. Akali just trying to shrug off one challenge. Heckenberg. Chipped over the top. Every time that Tormenta have probed or just tried to find some space for an opportunity, there's been a defender there. Ajay directly driving, one step over in the other. Great block. Once again, going back to that point in the first half, they have just put up a cordon sanitaire around that 6-yard box. They're just not letting balls get into those areas. They're getting out, blocking them, sending them away for corners before those chances can develop. Jackson Cooley down by the corner flag. Akale comes short. It's over his head. Risky ball out front. Saved by Fitzgerald. The offside flag looks like it has come up, but Akira Fitzgerald didn't know it. A point-blank save from Akira Fitzgerald, doing what he does best, just getting his body in the way, denying Fonseca. Well, Tormenta starting to build into this game. They just need a start. 3-goal deficit. They just need one to get them going. Pablo Jara. Good work by Terzaghi to harry the defenders. Heckenberg fouled. Third start of the year for Heckenberg. Got one against RGV in the U.S. Open Cup, and then Knoxville. Dengler. Big switch looking for Kuri. Guerrero. Now Akoto. Game-winning assist in the U.S. Open Cup. Rio Grande Valley. Akale on his left, just misses wide. Best opportunity of the game for Akale. Following up that Pedro Fonseca chance, and Tormenta building up ahead of steam. The space just opened up for him as Barnathan was turning. Not very wide. Joao Gamero, who exits. Very good performance in his start. Chandler O'Dwyer, who replaces him. This will be the most minutes he's played in league play. He had 4 minutes against Greenville and 1 against Northern Colorado. We get the better part of the second half here. Chris Cole has also entered to replace Dakota Barnathan. Cole making his first appearance in the league this year. Darren Zawatsky just tinkering with this 11 that's out there. Now they've got this commanding 3-goal lead. Akale. They've marshaled him well. And remember, this was not on the cards for this game. Just 2 goals scored all season for Richmond. Ajay, lovely back heel. Tied for the least in the league with Chattanooga. Both of those teams, Chattanooga and themselves, Richmond, have scored 3 goals. 3-1 win for Chattanooga. Richmond up 3-0 now. Heckenberg. Jackson Coury. And Cameron was just talking about this is a difficult Richmond team to play over. You really got to play through them or around them. And they've done better at that job in the last 5 to 10 minutes. Had 2 of their best opportunities of the game. One of them was offside and the other missed just wide. Heckenberg. Akale on for Otieno, who's preparing to go off to be replaced by Davy Mason. Otieno. Jackson Coury cuts it back lovely. Right-footed ball. Sarakowski just misses it out front. Still Tormenta knocking on the door. Inching their way closer and closer to their first goal of the game. Sarakowski rejoining the team. He's got 90 minutes against Charlotte in Knoxville. He joined the team last year in July. Scored against Chattanooga and got an assist against Tucson last year. As a substitute in all 3 of the playoff games in their route to the USL League One Championship. He's a guy who does know how to score against this Richmond team. He got the game-winning goal when he was at Forward Madison back in 2021. That was a 1-0 victory, and he scored it. Michael Hornsby on the far side, who provided the assist for Richmond's second goal. The lone new member to the back line for Richmond. Everyone else returns. Spent last year with the Fuego, where he made 27 appearances. The guy actually got to see play in college, as you see Davy Mason on for the first time. Replaces Tobias Otieno. More traditional left back. It was Mason who received that red card against Charlotte. But Hornsby had a very impressive collegiate career. Got 2 years at Queen's University in Charlotte, North Carolina, before trading the western side of the state for the eastern, where he played for the UNC Wilmington Seahawks. Got to see him on a couple of occasions during his 2 seasons there. The German from Berlin who will take this throw, as you can see Ajay down with frustration. They're whiffing on that one. Hornsby had a very good career with a very good collegiate program in UNCW. Dominant in the Colonial Athletic Association. See, this is that slip there, just missing the ball. And nothing feels worse, both on your pride and your legs. Kale, was he fouled? Picks up the scraps. 2/3 way through this one. Steep mountain to climb for Tormenta, but they're getting closer and closer. Just about scored on 3 separate occasions. Nice recovery work by Akoto, who has been an excellent addition to this new look back line for Tormenta, very much unlike Richmond. Has been the kickers who have had to go without 2 of their most impressive players from last year as we get confirmation on a yellow for Michael Hornsby. Easily gobbled up by Kira Fitzgerald. The two big names, Jonathan Bolaños, who pitched in 6 goals and 11 assists last year for Richmond. He has since moved on to Huntsville City, which is the Nashville affiliate in the MLS Next Pro. Does have an assist for them against the Crown Legacy, which is the Charlotte FC affiliate. Their other big player who's missing is Ethan Bryant. Pitched in 3 goals and 6 assists last year for Richmond. He has since gone on to the Sporting Kansas City organization, where he plays for their second team at MLS Next Pro. He got a goal against the Real Monarchs, but more importantly, he actually played 59 minutes in their U.S. Open Cup game for the first team against Tulsa, so getting called up to the main team for SKC and getting to get some extended minutes in the Cup. Just continues this model for Richmond of being able to convert young players into successful talent at the next level. Another corner kick for the visitors. Middle of the box, nodded away. Have a second bite at it. Some support shown. Foul on Davy Mason. The second yellow card he received against Charlotte in the U.S. Open Cup. Right down the heart, Akale making the run. Great, excellent one-on-one defending as they plead for the flag to come up. Akale spills his defender. It was great work initially by Akale. May have just been offside. For the defending, I believe it was Chris Cole. One of the harder players in this league to mark one-on-one. Makwele Akale just has that ability to turn and pivot, make your life miserable as a defender. Akale, of course, had that very strong start to the year. Player of the week and making it the team of the week 2 times with those opening goals. One against North Carolina FC, that 1-0 victory that looks a really good victory now, seeing where that team sits in the league standings. It's a little bit cooled off since then. But as are the woes and throes of a league season. Fonseca. Curry. Akoto. Once again, forcing them out wide, Richmond just setting up that block around the middle of that 18-yard box and forcing everything away and out wide. Davy Mason on his left. Stands this one up to the back stick. Great ball cut across. Sarakowski blocked out front. Ajay rifles one over. Well, selfless play from Akoto, who could have had the header at the far post. Decided to chest it down instead. Credit goes to Mason. Lovely ball. And then just heading it into the path of Sarakowski. The follow-up by Ajay is wide. But very selfless play from Akoto. Trying to bring Ryan Sarakowski into that one. That's now 4 chances here in the second half. Gone wanting for Tormenta. A recurring theme, really, in these losses for Tormenta. Coach Ian Cameron saying that they really haven't gotten really hardly beaten by anyone. The stats have been good in their losses. This shot from way out by Terzaghi goes wide. He says their statistics in these losses haven't been that bad. There's been a lot for them to take from in these games. Gives them a bit of a respite. That was the last contribution by Ryan Sierakowski, as Andrew Akindele will replace him. 6 starts on the year for the newcomer to the team. He had that chance just moments ago, and then his header that went over before that one. So once again, Tormenta are generating the chances. Great board to head this one into the path of Terzaghi. Last-ditch tackle made by Kilwine. Had to get that one just right, otherwise the Argentinian was scampering in. Of course, this will have a impact on how that top group of teams shapes out. Charlotte only picking up a single point takes them to 13. It's Richmond going to their bench. It's going to be a Luke Pavone and Jake Meacham. So those two will enter and give some fresh legs to a Richmond team that's had to play quite a lot in a very short space of time. So it's always going to be a game heavily affected by rotation. As you can see, Belmar and Bentley on the wings exiting. Meacham and Pavone will go out there. But Charlotte just picking up a single point will take them to 13. NCFC will go top of the league with 13 points themselves. Richmond with 3 points up to 8 will take them still below Tormenta, but they've got a game in hand. Tormenta themselves benefiting from the fact that the teams below them lost or drew. Jackson Cooley now on the right, shuffles it back onto his left boot. Greenville went down, so that's going to keep them below Tormenta. Madison drew, so Tormenta, even with a loss today, would not slip at all, in fact, down the table from the results that go from the ones around them. Kodo. You can see Ajay is now on the left. Kuri is on the right. Typically where Kuri played was on the right to start the season. Kale has been playing more of a central role this year in the number 10. Just a lot of numbers packed in there, given that this is like a 4-3-3 system. They've kind of got a diamond, a triangle, if you will, around him. Really has snuffed out any opportunities to get him on the ball. Here's Akindele. Out for Ajay. He's been very bright since coming on. Whips it in. Just caught at the back stick by Kuri, but just couldn't make anything of it. Really has been all Tormenta in the second half as far as attacking opportunities go. They've generated them in spades. Akoto. Ball through the lines for Akindele. Lovely layoff pass. Fonseca in there. That man is again. Ajay firing this one over. The man, the myth, the legend that is Akira Fitzgerald. Back into the starting lineup. Back to doing what it is that he does best. An immovable object between the pipes. Saw this one the whole way and gets the palms to it. Truly a specialist in his position. Such a good shot stopper year in and year out. Yellow card confirmation for Akira Fitzgerald. He missed a couple of games this season due to the fact that he and his wife giving birth to a child. Got to spend some time with he and his new member of the family. It's been a renaissance for William Palmquist, who's come in. But he's back to doing the usual Akira Fitzgerald things. Such a long track record of Kodo, whether it be in this league or others, of just being solid in between the sticks. Kilwine, a heavy challenge, but Pavone carries on. Just slipped on the ball there. Tormenta will carry on. Over the top for Ajay. Pretty work by Ani. You can see just in the bottom of your screen, John Murphy Jr. entering play for Tormenta. The New Jersey native. He replaces Pedro Fonseca, who was denied moments ago. Murphy Jr., who got the game-winning assist in that opening game, his very first for Tormenta since joining from the New York Red Bulls 2. Since then, he got a goal against RGV in the U.S. Open Cup. He's been in and out of the starting lineup. Sean Nimhart also comes in for Preston Kilwine. Certainly gone into some heavy challenges this second half. Heckenberg. Lofted ball by Mason. Just so good in the air, Richmond, just tracking those balls. It has really been their strong suit tonight. In and around that 18-yard box. They have let in a few chances here in this second half. Ones that Tormenta probably should have put away. See the offside flag, or a foul was given rather. Akira Fitzgerald got the League One record last season for single season saves. A man whose name is nearly synonymous with clean sheets. It's over 100 games in League One now, and he's looking for his 32nd clean sheet, which is a rather remarkable record to hold. That percentage of your games to have held the opposition to no goals. Akindele. Around the corner, lovely ball returned in, and the recovery tackle. It doesn't always have to be Fitzgerald. A goal-saving challenge. Tormenta can just not buy a goal tonight. Jackson Cooley. Ajay wriggling his way to the end line and confident defending. Great work by Simon Fitch. Davy Mason called for a push off the back of Chandler O'Dwyer. One of the things that was a big point of emphasis for Darren Sawatsky and this Richmond team was less about the goal scoring and more about the chance creation. They've got the players who are talented enough to put them away. It's not like they're missing a central striker. They've got Emiliano Terzaghi up front for them. It's just that Coach Sawatsky's saying they weren't creating enough quality chances. They weren't getting that final ball in. And I mean, if you haven't a better example than goal number 2 for Richmond, that was a beautiful build-up, multiple passes that led to the finish, left in by Hornsby to Suko. So that has certainly been on par with where they want it to be tonight. The first goal, a little bit scrappy, but still they made something from the corner kick, and the third one a free kick, which anything could happen from, but they've given themselves enough of that chance creation to go out and win a game. To Tormenta's credit, they've done the same themselves. Just goes to show you the difference between finishing your chances and not. A stark 3-goal difference separates these two. Typically, this has been a period of vulnerability for Tormenta this final 15 minutes. As Jackson Cooley sees this one along to the end line. 38% of their goals coming into this game have been allowed in the final 15 minutes. Usually not an area that they are very strong in. But this has been a game flipped on its head, where they typically were strong in the final 15 minutes of the first half, but weak in the final 15 of the second. It's very much been the opposite story told tonight. Heckenberg holding off one challenge, but just releasing it for Terzaghi. Pavone. Excellent ball. Chandler O'Dwyer. Zaka Moran conducting that midfield. Unfortunate bounce. Pavone laces in. Nearly connected with Terzaghi. Once again, harking back to the early parts of that first half, just being a threat on the counterattack. Tormenta lead the league in passes. A team that is not adverse to having the ball. So it's a setup for Richmond that has yielded results. Mason. Now Akale. Lovely build-up. Still he goes on, and Murphy just pokes it wide. Just shows you a little bit of what Akale can do if you can get him the ball. Murphy, in the end, he saw that lovely pass of his go wanting on the Akindele finish. But you can also, in stark contrast to that, see how quickly that Richmond defense just collapsed on Akale. Seeing him with the ball on the edge of their 18, they just surrounded him. Great touch by Kodo. He's put in a real shift tonight. Akindele trying to change the point of emphasis from one side to the other. Turned over to Ajay on his right. Curls one! An unstoppable effort from Ajay. A stunning goal from the Ghanaian. Might that just be the spark that they need to claw back in? A strike of pure perfection. Took this game on his shoulders, got the ball himself, scored the ball himself. An emphatic finish, rolling it into the top corner. Not even Akira Fitzgerald could keep that out. Will it prove merely a consolation? Can something come off the back of this? Akoto. Nembhard. Here's Akale. That'll trickle out of play for a Richmond throw. Rather for Tormenta, took a deflection on its way through. There has been signs of this comeback up to now. There have been chances that Richmond have let in. Tormenta just haven't quite been able to put them away, but perhaps now they can build something. Akale. That one will go harmlessly up and over. They have not been truly down and out in this second half. First half, they were eclipsed by the performance of the kickers, but they have been resurgent in the second. Comeback may have started too late for them, though. Staring down just the final 6 minutes plus stoppage time in Statesboro. A night punctuated by rain, the delay, but it has not delayed the excitement that has been built out from our late start. Chandler O'Dwyer just holding his head after that mid-air collision. You can see there's colliding perhaps with the forearm of Nembhard. That was Pavone. Just trying to keep this in one play. Hara going quickly. Nembhard, who's gone in at center back. He did the same thing when Dangler went out for a few of those games. Stands this one up to the far side for Cooley. Murphy. Slips as he goes forward. You could see the frustration immediately. Hands held to his head as the turf tonight is slick. Hours and hours of rain.
Substitution for the Richmond Kickers. Entering the match number 34, Beckett Howell. Exiting the match number 32, Emiliano Terzaghi.
Terzaghi, the one pulled here for Richmond as they make a late substitution. Beckett Howell to come in. You can see the entrance from Howell. Big night for the young man, just 18 years of age. It's a real point of pride for Darren Sawatsky, talking about the young guys they've been able to get on their bench and even get some minutes. He's been on the bench a few times, on the bench against DC United and the Charlotte Independence, as well as the Hailstorm. But his first pro minutes for Beckett Howell. Congratulations to him. This league continues to be a platform for young players in this country and for internationals who come to it to start to build a reputation for themselves and find a way to the top. Nimhard. Chipped over for Mason. Akale holds off one. Kuri settles, sees the overlap. Akoto drives it across, settled by Akale. They go again. To the end line. And it's going to come off of Akoto last. He really has been the most solid player, I would say, tonight. Throughout the 89 minutes we've played. Just so good defensively, has offered options attackingly. Just a truly great performance from Nick Akoto, who has been an amazing addition to this back line for Tormenta. As it looks as though the defending tournament champions are going to come up just short against the Players' Shield winners. It would be the 36th win of Darren Sawatsky's career as the head coach of Richmond. 32nd loss for Ian Cameron. Take him level, 32 wins, 32 losses, and 15 draws. Murphy draws the contact there from Howell, who in his first pro minutes will receive his first yellow card. Quite an initiation to the league. He has certainly shown a lot of exuberance. A few lung-busting sprints. Performance tonight has shown you why Richmond were able to go out and win the league last year in the regular season. It's not always about scoring the prettiest of goals, though their second one was amongst that. As we enter the beginning of 4 minutes of stoppage time, brought to you by the Clubhouse. They got a fortuitous goal, their first one, but once again, it's teams that can score in every single way possible, not just the tiki-taka, not just the direct free kick goals, but can do it in each and every way. That's what it takes in a season as long and as hard as this League One season is. Tormenta continuing to hope for brighter days ahead. Certainly will be most immediately in their future. As the W League and Academy teams will begin their seasons just this upcoming week as the W League team looks to defend their title. This club winning both the W League and League One. So they and the Academy teams will get going this week and look to continue to build from the roots up, really, this championship winning mentality of this club. Halfway through stoppage time here. I don't think there's really much to worry about from a Tormenta perspective. Remember just how great they were at the end of last year. It was a mixed bag at the beginning, some good runs and then some periods without results. But then at the end of the season, they just caught fire as those teams that so often do well in tournaments do. It all came together at the right time for Ian Cameron's men, and they just went on a run. You have to remember the players that aren't here for them as well. The big name being Keziah Sterling. If you look at this game and the chances that they missed, a guy like Keziah Sterling up front might just be the difference maker you need between having, 6 or 7 chances and only scoring 1 to maybe getting 2 or 3 more goals in this game to make it competitive. They hope to have him back after their bye week. There's a possibility, but you never know. Guy who value can be weighed in gold just about, and they protect him like it. Great work by Audie to keep it in play. Scoring his second goal in back-to-back appearances at Tormenta Stadium. But right now it'll be Justin Suko's goal that will go down as the game winner. Hara. On to Murphy. On his right, deflected up and over. We are into the right edges. The final knockings. Is there time to take this last corner? Akale. Ajay, they've got to get it in the box. Whiffles this one over to the far side. The final whistle can't be far away. Forced backwards by Howell. Plenty of numbers forward. The ball goes in. Still we play on. Mason, lovely delivery. Curry. Still we go on. Akale. Curry now. Murphy. Pushed off the ball, and that will do it.
And that's the match.
The Players' Shield winners in the very first meeting between the regular season and tournament champions, the Richmond Kickers, weather the storm in South Georgia, see off the Tormenta 3-1. A confident performance all around will send the Kickers back to Richmond with all 3 points. Let's take a look at our man of the match presented by Galactic Comics. The man who scored the lone goal for Tormenta, a beautiful strike, Kingsford Ajay. He came on as a substitute and really provided some electricity in attack, something they desperately needed in the late stages there, and nearly mounted a comeback for this Tormenta team, but came up just short. That's Kingsford Ajay, your player of the match, presented by Galactic Comics. What else could be our play of the match but his goal? What a beautiful strike. That one's going to be in the list for games of the week. Just saw this ball fall to him after it was turned over and laced it into that top corner. A beautiful strike that presented by Bullock Solutions on his right. Caught it so sweetly and got it past, as there might have just been a brief moment of hope for Tormenta. That is your play of the match presented by Bullock Solutions. The double for Ajay. Here is your save of the match, presented by Vision Source. It was this block out front as the ball was played in. Kilwine was just putting everything on the line in that first quarter of the first half. Kilwine with our save of the game, just getting his body in the way for that Vision Source save of the game. Well, it was going to be a night of first for these two teams. The first ever time the regular season and tournament winners meeting, and it will go the way of the regular season winners, Richmond. They got off to a great start in the first half. 3 confident goals to take them over Tormenta as we sign off here. We'll be right back after this to wrap it up on ESPN+.
Optum Health System's commitment to you has not changed. Unmatched safety and compassionate care. Others may talk about the new normal, but at Optum Health System we've always provided high-quality, personalized care safely. If you have recently delayed your care, we want to reassure you we are prepared to care for you. Our absolute commitment to safe, high-quality, personalized care is stronger than ever. We welcome you back to Optum Health System.
¿Ya casi estás lista?
Wrap things up from Statesboro as we put a bow on this game between Richmond and South Georgia. A 3-1 victory here in League One after dark. It'll be the visitors who take the final result. Match brought to you by Kids World. Let's take a look at our full-time highlights, as it was the defending regular season champions who will get away with a very confident performance. It started very early as well, as it became a very quick Richmond Kickers lead. Just 8 minutes into this game, from a set piece, this man again, Nathan Awney, after scoring Richmond's goal to tie things up in the very first ever game on this field last season, a 1-1 draw, he puts up Richmond in the first half very early with this deflection. But it was not over for Richmond in the first half. Things got sweeter and sweeter as the first half went on. The 41st minute, first goal in red and white. Beautiful build-up play leads to this easy finish for Justin Suko. Congratulations to him getting his #1 goal since joining from forward Madison. A great finish for Justin Suko and a real point of contention, because that is the game-winning goal. But still, it got even better, especially because they've been waiting for this guy to score in the league. Emiliano Terzaghi opens the count for 2023, his 47th goal for Richmond. The Golden Man gets another, and that would put it beyond really reachability for Tormenta, but they gave it an honest prosecution in the second half. A beautiful goal scored off of a turnover by Ajay. Just rolls it into the top corner. That one's going to go down as a contender for goal of the week, and rightly so. Ajay, a valiant effort as Tormenta just couldn't quite get it across the line in the very last stages of this game. That was presented to you by Galactic Comics. Here are our full-time stats. Of course, possession heavily skewed in the favor of Tormenta, who had a lot of the ball in the second half. But look at shots. 12 shots to Tormenta, just 8 of Richmond. They were very efficient, but that second half was just dominated by Tormenta. They put all kinds of shots in and around, but of course, shots on target still very much in favor of Richmond in the overall score, which is the only statistic that matters. These are the full-time stats presented by Galactic Comics. Well, a night of firsts for both of these teams and League One. A real night to remember for the visitors on a rainy night. The delay did not matter because we got goals galore. Quite the performance from the Richmond Kickers, who are trying to defend their regular season title and avenge their late loss in the playoffs last year. They built themselves quite the foundation, and guess what? They've got their main man, Terzaghi, scoring again. Thank you so much for staying up late with us. For myself, Zach Burley, we say thank you, good night, and we'll see you next time.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.